Today's Tuesday, May 31st. Is anyone else just having a really rough time getting started today? It's like, it should be Monday, but it's Tuesday, and I didn't do much on Monday, so now I have all my Monday stuff and my Tuesday stuff to do, and I'm not feeling very motivated at all. And, my Keurig just blew the circuit to that, whole set, so now I've got to go back and, set the breaker for that and try to eat my oatmeal and get motivated. Wow, gonna be a great day. So I just cannot get motivated today. So even though I'm planning on staying at home, I might not stay at home. I decided to take you with me while I put on my makeup. Now, one of the things that you might not know about me is that I have a port wine stain birthmark on the side of my face. Been there forever. I've covered it forever. Am I ashamed of it? Not ashamed so much as just I feel awkward when people feel awkward when they ask me about it, and people do. So anyhow, I'm going to show you how I cover it up. This is by no means the way that other people cover it up. And I change it up a bit every so often when something's not working or something is working or my skin's changing or whatnot. And so I just thought I would take you with me while I put my makeup on and cover up my port wine stain. Okay, the first thing that I use is the Physicians Formula Conceal RX. And I use the green tone because green reduces the pigmentation of red. It kind of neutralizes the red. So I just get in here, get to the bottom of the tube, and I just slather that all around. I am by no means a makeup artist, although in college I did take a class in how to put on stage makeup, but I don't think that counts. So anyhow, I have to go further down on my neck than I probably normally would, but the birthmark goes down that far. You know, once my dad told me this story, I forget who wrote it. I forget who wrote it. I'll have to look it up. But it's called The Birthmark, and it's about this man who has this beautiful daughter, and she's perfect in every way, except she has this birthmark on the side of her face. And he's like a doctor or a chemist, and so he makes up this potion and she drinks it and the birthmark goes away and she dies because she's perfect. And the only one who can be perfect is, of course, Jesus. And so I always thought, like, I would be perfect in every way if it weren't for the port wine stain birthmark. So anyhow, I set it with some Cody Airspun loose powder, and I change up on this a lot. I mean, I'm not tried and true to this brand, although I do really like it. And I set that green in there. And then I go on to Dermablend, which is pretty much the go-to makeup for people with port wine stains or scars or those kind of things. And I just use the concealer. And I am hitting pan. So, in true ghetto form, I scooped some out with the end of my tweezers. Yeah, don't judge. This stuff is expensive. It's like 20 bucks for this little tube, which I guess in the beauty world that's not so expensive, but for a cheapskate like me, it's kind of expensive. So anyhow, I just put that on top there, over the green, and that kind of neutralizes it some more. And I'm going to need some more of this. Where are the trusty pliers? So did you guys have a good Memorial Day? We didn't do squat. Really, we just stayed in the house. Tropical Storm Bonnie came through, and we had hopes on Monday to maybe meet the kids at the park that's halfway between their house and our house, and maybe take the kids on the merry-go-round and stuff. And with the rain, that just didn't happen. The roads were really, really bad. And yesterday was also my youngest son and his wife's first anniversary, and that was kind of exciting, although of course, you know, we're not going to pound in on their anniversary, but we're real proud of them. Last week at this time, my mom had a silver alert out on her in Indiana. She was out driving around. My husband was up in Indiana the first part of last year trying to find her and get her settled and take her car away. And then what happened? Wyatt was born early, and he was put on a cooling blanket because he was literally brain dead for 8 minutes. And then let's see, the person who was planning the wedding and doing the flowers for Christopher and Vika's wedding, her husband passed away on the Thursday, and then the rehearsal dinner was Friday, and the wedding was Saturday, and it was so hectic. I just remember just shutting down last year on that Friday before. So anyhow, I'm setting the Derma blend with the powder again. But this year all's good. Everybody seems healthy. Everybody's happy. Everybody's still married. So then, to cover up all this hot mess, I am going to use, for the circles under my eyes, CoverGirl Depuffer with this metal tip. I really like it because it does feel good. Yeah, I do have bags under the eyes, especially last night. Goodness gracious, the dogs would not sleep. Chris was over there snoring, and the dogs were looking at me like, hey, let's go outside. Seems like a perfect time to go outside. Come on. So I let him out for a while, and I couldn't go back to sleep till they came back in. And then I just fell asleep, and they wanted out again. I don't know what the deal was, but it kind of drove me insane. So I didn't get much sleep. And then, I don't know if you do this, but your mind starts racing and you have all these big plans for what you're going to do the next day. Then I start praying and I fall asleep and I feel guilty about that. So anyhow, it's kind of a rough night's sleep, but here I am, motivating. So then sometimes I use a beauty blender, sometimes I don't. I use my finger. Like I said, this is the way I cover up my port wine stain. And I'm doing this with the Revlon Color Stay in the color Sand Beige. And I really like Revlon. It is my favorite go-to. Used to be CoverGirl when I was younger. But as I got older, I needed a lot more coverage. And I just want to say, I had already primed my face with the L'Oreal Revitalift. Don't know if it works, but it says it's supposed to reduce wrinkles. So anyhow, where was I? Oh, yeah. So everybody seems healthy this year. Ethan's home from the hospital. Of course, he came home about 6 or 7 days after he was born in April. And Wyatt's doing good. Jacob's doing good. Those were the 3 grandbabies we had this year. Christopher and Vika are doing well. Chris and I are doing well. It's been just a real stressful year, though, having to move my mom down here and get her all squared around and taken care of, because, you know, she has frontal lobe dementia, which is kind of a hostile sort of dementia. It affects the behavior part of you, and so that's been really, really rough, having to deal with all that. And then my mother-in-law got breast cancer, and that's just something none of us saw coming. There wasn't breast cancer in her family. Don't know where that came from. God knows. We don't. But, you know, that was kind of, my mother-in-law is really my best friend, and so that's kind of hit me hard, because we would always make a point of going thrifting and going out for lunch and just talking hours at a time. And now our focus is just on getting her well and prayers and what's needed for that. So now I'm setting this with the very same powder. And one time I was at a grocery store, and you know, people can be ignorant, they can be rude, but this one woman, I think, was not, I was at Walmart, and I was going to a checkout line, and I didn't have my makeup on, and she said, "Oh my gosh, is that a hickey on your neck?" when she saw my port wine stain, and I was like, and before I could say anything, my husband just put his arm around me and said, "Why, yes, it is." And so I just was so thankful for him for stepping up to the plate for that one, because it you know, it gets really awkward. So anyhow, here it is. Tone down a bunch. Next, I am going to put on some blush. I just used this good old Physicians Formula Argan Wear Natural. And I have not mastered all the bronzer techniques and knowing how to make my cheekbones good and my flab not so flab and my eyes not so droopy or whatever. So I just slap on some blush. What the heck? Just make me look sun-kissed. And a little up here and a little down here. There you go. And then do the brows. My brows are a hot mess. I need to get them done this week. And yes, I do have them professionally done, because my hairdresser is a really good friend of mine. I get a pretty good price on it. So anyhow, I used this Too Faced Brow Envy on my brows, which it comes with all this really cool stuff, and I probably could do my brows on my own. I've never been a pro at the makeup stuff, really and truly. Anyhow, I just did a little swipey poo there, and a little swipey poo there. So what's your opinion? Should people, if they dye their hair, dye their eyebrows? There's like an 89-year-old woman who comes into the beauty shop that's next door to ours, and she dyes her hair like clown red, and she rocks it. She really does. And then she has them dye her eyebrows clown red, and you know, I'm seeing these little tiny gray specks that come out of my eyebrows, and I keep plucking them, and pretty soon I'm not going to have any eyebrows left up there. And yeah, I do dye my hair. I would probably be totally gray if I didn't dye my hair. So, what's your opinion? Dye the eyebrows, pluck the eyebrows, color the eyebrows? I don't know. Anyhow, on to the eyes. Milani Bella Violet. I don't always use this one, but I am today. I really like the color. Do I need to do something with my fingernails today too? Oh yeah. So I'm just going to put this on my top lid. Sometimes I get fancy and do a blend. But this is the poor woman's version of covering up a port wine stain when you have no professional training and not a lot of money or not a lot of time. I mean, let's face it, I raised 4 boys. When do you have a lot of time when you raise 4 boys? So then, to do the top lid, I'm just using the Naked Basics. I like this palette by Urban Decay. I know they're kind of passe by now, but I really hope to get some of the other palettes. I like eye palettes, and I don't treat myself enough to that. I treat myself to tons of craft things, but not eye palettes. So anyhow, that goes on the top. And then, just because I'm finishing up this tube, the Mega Plush by Maybelline. And back in the 1960s, if you were a stewardess, which I was never a stewardess, but they would tell you just to do the corner eyelashes, and I don't know, I'm stuck in the 60s with some things. I just do the corner of my eyes to kind of whip it up there, but you know, I got my big Sally Jesse Raphael glasses anyhow, so nobody sees too much of my eyes. They can't get past those big old glasses. And let's see. Top it off with some lipstick. Don't know what. How about this buxom? Looks pretty good. Like the color. This is in the color Hooligan. Once again, not a pro, just a mom with a port wine stain birthmark. So anyhow, there you have it. All covered up, ready for the day. Hoping I'm motivating. Gotta do something with the hair. This video today, it's just kind of a part of my life and my routine. And if you do, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any makeup hardships that you have to take care of. Like I said, I've been dealing with a birthmark now for 58 years, and so it's just kind of become part of my routine. I know that now there's so many laser surgeries out there and wonderful things that they could do, but if you're like me and you're just rocking a port wine stain or any kind of facial problem that you need to cover up, let me know. Comment down below and like and subscribe. Take care.